Hello and welcome. We are once again gathered for the Midwest Season 15-16 Invitational. We'll be hosting an invite race filled with familiar names and names we haven't heard in a while at Coda tonight. 50% race, short quali, standard format. Um, Everything is standard tonight to just work out any kinks or bugs we may encounter here with our last before we get going here in Midwest F1 Season 16. The schedule has been on the screen for you to see: Bahrain, China, Miami, Australia, Britain reverse, Belgium, Imola, then a 5-year anniversary Grand Prix at Canada, going into a Japanese Grand Prix, Monza, Dutch reverse Grand Prix, Qatar, Jeddah, Austria reverse, and Brazil. I'm gonna then move into our display capture. And hopefully we are all ready to go. We should be readying up. Here we go. All right, loading on in. All right, the sun is setting here in Austin, Texas, as 19 drivers prepare to try and set the fastest time that they can. We are going to just have this perfect. All right, as if you have joined us for an interdivisional race before, you will know that these races are run with realistic performance. And we try to balance it out so that our lower division drivers have the ability to run some faster equipment. So we do see kind of a mix-up of a grid here. Oh, that is certainly a way to get started here. With Brian Moser spun halfway around the track. That is very interesting. That's a good start here. We are going to actually just quickly switch to medium graphics here because I thought we'd be able to handle this. We aren't. That's okay. All right. We're all good then. As we get started here, who will cross the line first? Gownie Weeb is out here to start us off. Okay, so we're going to head from the back to the front. Skrinzy and Race Day, two champions, multiple-time champions in their own right, will be taking the Kick Saubers out for a spin here today. Obviously, so far we've seen the worst car of the 2025 season. Then moving up the list, we head over to our... Ooh, we head over to Haas's second slowest in performance, where we have Suey and Cali Rob. Cali Rob, of course, a multiple Grand Prix winner in Midwest. Suey, I think, has one, but of course has always battled near the front in D1. As Weeb embarks on his first flying lap. Head into the S's here. First driver attacking. After that, we head over to Alpine. Of course, we've got Weeb here today running Alpine as well as Race Chase. We go to V-Carb where we have Fire Up Flow and Sharia Coleslaw. Williams, we have Gunner and Houdini. In a car that has proven to be pretty quick so far this season. Although I don't know if the performance is exactly on par. I got a little bit of traffic here that Weeb's going to have to deal with on his first flyer. And he's going to take a little bit of an IndyCar line here into the final corners. Did not apparently invalidate him. And he'll get that little bit, not exactly what you would want to see. And Brian does go faster to get started here. Still moving on up the order, we have Drismic from D2 and Shelly the Turtle with his triumphant return to Midwest F1 racing here today. We've got Gunner crossing the line shortly. We've got one of the Mercedes. Johnny Damon's going to go fastest, 33.845 to get us really kicked off here. We've got Twisted Skills coming around the turkey corner here and into the fast double left here. Cutting the beam in the Ferrari. The other Ferrari tonight is Josh Sr. Twisted will not get Johnny. And we'll have one of the Haas's come across. That's Suey. Looks like he was invalid. Scorenzy is invalid as well. So we have a couple of drivers on invalid laps. And a couple of drivers preparing to start. So we'll head over to Cali as he's coming around to prepare for his first flyer. Good old California Rob in the Haas here on home turf. Early pole speed set at a 1:33.845 by Johnny Damon in the Mercedes. Twisted Skills and with a 34.243, and Fire Up Flow with 34.544 trailing. Mercedes we have seen already with Johnny Damon with the provisional, and Frenchie there in 10th currently with a 37.212. Red Bull, we've got Bruiser and Brian Moser. Brian Moser, a multi-time Division 1 winner all the way back in Season 1. If you remember the time when the dinosaurs walked the earth like I do. And then in McLaren, we have the one and only Schumacher, 13.57. Sure to bring us excitement, as always. A little bit of a lockup for Kelly there as he's going to navigate into the stadium section here. Always a little tricky, kind of awkward corner here. second, third gear. How early can you get on power and rip through the long multi-apex right-hander? Of course, now in F1 2025, we have a lot more tire wear that is uneven. It definitely plays a much bigger role this year than it did before. Callie puts in a 35.0. This might play an effect here with lots of high speed corners, lots of high speed, high load right-handed corners. We will have to see how that will affect that left front, putting a lot of load into that left front right now. Race day cuts the beam to do a 35.0. Johnny improves on his time, further extending where he is at. Did I screw up by giving him Mercedes? All right. Shelly on an outlap, Houdini on starting a flyer. Race chase here, gonna finish his first flyer. A little bit of a hesitation on the turn in there, it looked like. And he turns in much more decisively into the final corner. Opens that rear wing, cuts the beam to go ahead of Suey and the Haas behind race day. Drismic cuts the beam, does not improve. And we will see Houdini now, just about to head onto that long back stretch on another flying lap. One of the V-carbs there holding off to the side. We'll head over right now to check out Shelly hitting his first timed lap, starting his first time lap here. First time lap in a long time in a Midwest sanctioned race. We'll hop on board for the S's section. Such a great section in that high downforce car. Such a great section in any car, truly. Purple first sector for Shelly. I wonder if that's true or not. We'll head back to Houdini as he prepares to cut the beam on the final corner. And he will be good enough for 14th. So we'll head back. Do we get a little bit of a tow here, potentially? No, the car in front warming his tires. That is the Ferrari, I believe, of Josh. A little bit of a front left lockup for Shelly as he heads into the stadium section here. It says double purple. Do I believe it? I don't know. A little bit of a slide of the rear there, fighting the car through the corners. Of course, these cars are extremely planted through these high-speed corners here. Could have used a lot more runoff there. We'll see if those purples were fallacy or truth here as he heads to the line with a 34.672. Not too bad, I would say. Got a couple more cutting the line here. Gani Weeb improves to go 4th. Scorency is beginning his first timed lap. Of course, the Midwest GOAT, as many would say, as race day, of course, continues to chase that status himself. He can potentially take that position going into this season here. And that car looks slidey. We're seeing a purple sector for Scorenzy. Once again, truth or fallacy, who the heck knows. That front left locks into the hairpin before this long back straight. So he will try to use all of that Ferrari power unit here. Another lock up here. Heading into the stadium section, a little bit of traffic seems to get out of the way into the tricky braking of this left-hand corner. And now it's all on the aerodynamics. These last few corners, lots of commitment. Will he use the amount of runoff necessary? Uses all the corner on entry, uses up a lot of the curb on the exit. Into the final corner, a little bit hesitant on the throttle. Might have cost him. 33.879 goes second overall. Josh is about to head into the S's. Looks like he may be charging. Sharia pushing into the... No, he's not pushing. All right. Is Sui. Kind of looks like it. A little bit hesitant. We see a blue sector there for Sui. Has he found a little bit more of a groove? He is definitely farther down than he would like to be. Can this Haas machine put himself into the top 10 or top 5? He was very quick at the end of last season. Will that carry over to a brand new game? Are these flashing lights truth? Who knows? Once again, a little hesitant, much like his brother. He cuts the line to improve to top 5. Here we see Gunner on an in-lap. Race day, headed down the back stretch. He's got a lot of ground to make up if he wants to be where he, or if he wants to get to where he believes he should be, near that top 2 pair there. Of course, he has had great battles with the likes of Scorenzy throughout the last few seasons, throughout much of Midwest F1's history. Now, I have it on good authority that last night, race day was actually racing in production cars, 60 production cars around Charlotte Legends Oval, of all places. He was in a Jetta, and he actually speared across the track and nearly killed somebody, T-boned a car, from what I saw, in what could only be described as utter attempted murder. But today he goes 5th fastest, knocking Sui out of the top 5. Sui, I believe, is on his end lap here. We'll see if he heads to pit lane. Track is getting a little bit quiet, as I assume a lot of cars are going to start piling out for their final runs. Frenchie here headed into that stadium section. Lots of cars seem to be locking up that front left into that hairpin. Not sure if it's true or not. Frenchie is about a 10th up on his PB. He's going to need a lot more than that to get higher up, to match that Johnny Damon time of a 33.6 of his teammate. Can he wring that much time out of this car? No, he invalidates. Oh, utter disappointment there. How about Drismic? Currently in 14th, a relatively new face to Midwest F1. Not a freshie by any means. He'll head across the line. He improves to a 34.809. Mosser coming across the line here in just a few seconds. And it appears that race day is about to started his final flying lap, and Mosser 35.421. Will he have enough to improve? It'll be close, if at all. He does not improve. He's about a 10th slower. We've got Twisted Skills cutting across the line. Does not seem to go much faster, if at all. Race Chase is on his outlap. Shelley's on his outlap. Outlap. This is an outlap for Damon. We're going to have a lot of time set here in just a few seconds. Fire Up Flow doesn't seem to be on an outlap. And if that is race day, that's not race day, that's Scornsy. Fire Up Flow, I think, is the first car that's going to complete a lap here. Coming around the corner, I think this is in the ballpark looking at the split time. It's going to be kind of tight. Might be able to improve, but I don't know if it'll be by much. All right, a 3/10 improvement, actually much larger than I thought it was going to be. Gets him into the top 5, knocking race day out of it. The Haas of Cali Rob and the Haas of Suey beginning their first time laps. Looks like Suey is going to be getting a little bit of a tow there. Whether that is intentional or not, I guess we will see. And if this ends up in tears, looks like Josh Sr. Or Houdini might have just set a time to improve a little bit. A lot of curb there. Race chase into the 4th position. Got a new weeb now. It's shown as a checkered. We've got a slow car ahead off to the side. Shouldn't be a problem. Now this is where I will be interested. Is Suey close enough to pick up a big draft from race day? I think he may be. It'll be right on the cusp there. If this is enough for Suey to jump a large portion of the grid, it seems that Haas is not super strong. You have some very talented drivers here, midfield cars. Race day gets out of the way. I'm wondering if he's trying to get Suey up there to fight, which would be very bizarre. But he may be. I don't think that this time is particularly quick from Suey. Kind of looking at the splits here, I think that he might not even be improving. He's not improving. So race day out of it. Fire Up Flow is headed to the pit lane. That's everybody. It seems like he kind of expected to do better there. Johnny Damon in the Mercedes will take pole. 133.525 is enough to get the job done here. Twisted Skills with a 33.632, trailing Scornsy, still in that 33 bracket, but a 0.879. Then we bump down Cali Rob, managing to drag that Haas into the top 5. Great improvement on his final run to get to 34 flat. Race Chase directly behind him, nipping at the heels. Then Shelley on his return, 34.1. And we will head down the list a little bit later here. We see Got Any Weeb with a 34.176. Fire Up Flow, 34.227. Race Day all the way down in 9th place, 34.349. Rounding out the top 10 is Suey in the Haas with a 34.450. Well off of pole, but pretty close to his teammate, all things considered. The field is rather tight into, I would say, about 15th place, maybe 13th place. We head down into 11th. Josh, Drismic, Sharia, Gunner, Brian, Houdini, Frenchie, Bruiser, and Schumacher in last place there, having not set a time. We will be having a formation lap here, just to see how everything is handling. While we are waiting, I would just like to give out a congratulations to the 3 drivers that are being promoted from D2 to D1. Ayahuasca finished third. Actually, we have 4 drivers, sorry, due to a couple of extra drivers leaving D1. Finishing fourth, we have Josh Sr. He'll be coming up to D1. Ayahuasca finishing third in D2 will come up to D1. Drismic finishing second will come up to D1. And then Just Josex coming up after winning the D2 championship, coming on up to D1. He was not able to make it tonight, but we will see him next Thursday night in Bahrain for his first D1 appearance, or his first D1 full-time appearance at the very least. Going to be an interesting season, new game, some new faces to D1, some new faces, some old faces. We should have full grids, D1 and D2, as we head forward here. All right, we should be headed to the grid here. There we go. There's our tick down. Cars should all be lined up on the grid, preparing for that formation lap. All right, as in years past, we do expect this to be... Whoa, Suey nearly killing race day before we get started here. We will take a check on tires. Everybody in the field, sans 2 drivers, Fire Up Flow and Drismic, decide to take the hard tire to start off here, looking to go long. Everybody else universally says the medium tire is the way to go. We will see who is right, who is wrong in just a few moments. Schumacher, Bruiser is having an interesting time here, trailing a little bit. Lots of faux locking up, maybe really locking up, who knows. The field isn't too spread out. Johnny Damon will drive it in, ready to take his slot in pole position. Lots of weaving being had today. Who knows what the actual meta strat for warming tires will be. A couple of burnouts for the grid as they go on to settle into their pit boxes, or their start stalls. Now, the soft tire hasn't been unusable here in the past. We'll see if it at all can be something that we see in the future. As we wait for the lights. They are illuminated. And off we go in the division, or in the interdivisional race. The drivers charge up the Phil Hill. 3 wide for the lead. They manage to sort it out. Can Johnny hold on as Scornsy shoots to the inside, takes that spot away from him as they dive into the S's. No dramas yet, it seems. We'll round up lap 1 in a little while here. It shows us that possible strategies one more time. Farther back in the field, Schumacher has left up 4 spots. Lord knows how that happened. Shelley has tumbled 5. Brutal for him. Brutal start for him so far. Suey all over the back of him. Now coming down this long straight into this hard braking zone. Will Johnny think about it? He does think about it, but he isn't going to make that move. We see plenty of drivers in the background trying to send it. Brian on Drismic, it appears, now trying to hunt down Suey. Johnny and gets alongside Scornsy, is not able to get that done. Now the dirty air in F125 is much worse than it was in F124. Much worse, much more realistic, I suppose. It's going to be harder to follow in some of these high-speed corners than it was last year. We're starting to see that gap. Callie starting to just potentially lose out to that team, to that Ferrari ahead of him. We missed Schumacher getting passed by Frenchie. A battle here. Houdini looks to dive it in on the inside of Schumacher. He's way to the inside apex. Schumacher way off track, and Houdini will have that spot. Gunnar has lost 5 spots since the start. Shelley now down 6 after he loses a spot to Suey. But Scornsy, the big winner here overall, up 2 spots, but most importantly up 2 into the lead. We will see how DRS will have an impact on this race here to start. Schumacher spins into the wall, and he is now down in dead last. Sharia making it work on Josh, and we have a change for the lead. That is Johnny Damon getting it done with the DRS. We're going to see lots of that. Houdini getting it done on Frenchie, maybe. Yes, he does. Moving him up another spot. We have lots of battling in this midfield here. Gunnar all over the back of Bruiser down. Now he's going to the outside of Bruiser. Does Bruiser have damage? Wow. Getting it done there is unusual, to say the least. Johnny Damon sets the fastest lap so far, as one can imagine. That makes sense. DRS down the backstretch will help your lap time. Now, how this follow through will look for Scornsy. Lots of throttle manipulation here. What gear do you want to be in? Lots of in-between corners. Oh, and a big slide! Johnny into the wall! Oh no! It'll be Twisted Skills. Johnny tumbling down 11, 12, 13 spots. Oh, tragedy. He's going to wait for the entire train. Oh, and he falls into 18th. Oh, just brutal. But on the opposite side of this, Twisted Skills going in, getting it done with Scornsy. Will there be a crossover potentially from Scornsy? He's looking for it on the outside. He is there. It can be tough. Oh, a 3-second time penalty already. And wow, what a move from Scornsy. That switchback into the stadium section. Getting it done. We've got race chase, slow and around, drivers all over the road trying to avoid him. Now, look at Sharia Coleslaw up 6 spots from the start, just like race day. Race day has managed to Race and Shria both have managed to keep their noses clean in some of these early laps and make up ground. Got a new weave and Fire Up are battling. Cali Rob battling. That is Got a new weave in. Is it wing damage? It's awfully early to stop. I would think it is wing damage for him. Yes, it is. Scornsy passed again from Twisted Skills. Now, this is going to be a battle all day long, as you know. DRS intensive track. We do see a rather large gap here. First and second have distanced themselves from third. Race Day is really all alone in third place. Cali Rob back in fourth. Now, I would expect to see Scornsy make another move here as these two drivers with Ferrari power units kind of switch back and forth, attempting to make time from behind, although Scornsy's rather far behind, potentially maybe saving a little bit of battery here behind Twisted Skills. Race Chase and Sharia going side by side into the corner. Who's going to make it work? That's a little bit of a My Apex from Sharia. He's got it though. Getting past Race Chase. That's a Max Verstappen move if I've ever seen one. The other guy doesn't deserve space on the racetrack because I was here first. Scornsy following Twisted Skills through the long left. That is once again same spot as before. Schumacher. Scornsy kind of flirting with that 1 second barrier here from Twisted Skills. Now, you have to take into account tire wear on a lot of these lower tier F1 cars is going to be worse. So the Sauber is going to struggle with tire wear compared to the Ferrari. In theory, the McLaren would be the best if it wasn't spinning all the time. We do see a lot of really close battling still in the mid-pack. Race Chase and Sharia are all over each other. Shelley close behind. They are going to have an interesting battle here. This whole group here, kind of like 5th through, I mean, heck, you can go all the way down to like 13th, 14th, 15th. All of them in essentially one long DRS train, a little spaced out. I don't think Scornsy got DRS this time, although he is gaining enough that he probably did. Sharia goes defensive on Race Chase, or just a little bit of working together here, try to catch back up to Cali Rob in 4th, who is a little bit out to dry here. These drivers trying to kind of claw back that time, get towards the front once again. Scornsy now past that 1 second barrier to getting DRS from Twisted Skills. Is that tire wear, tire management the problem here? Oh, and he's way off, well off the track. That opens up the door very nicely for Race Day, although Race Day has been bleeding a little bit of time to Scornsy so far this race, and Scornsy does shoot back into that 1 second gap here to Twisted Skills. Now if we head further back into the grid, Josh Sr. on Suey, the work's going to be a lot better than the bought and borrowed Haas. Behind that, Drismic, I believe, got past Brian Moser for 11th. Houdini getting past Brian Moser as well. Maybe a bad set of corners for that Red Bull. And as we head back up the field, Fire Up Flow chasing down Cali Rob with the long train in tow, although Josh kind of breaking up that long train with a gap to, oh, big defensive move from Cali. Honestly, at this point in the race, not really sure what the point of that is, unless he's that. Wow, a very, very, very defensive line from Cali. Gets it done, though. You can't cut a lot of that curb on entry there. It's possible that he just knows that, is able to abuse that. It's also possible he just cut the corner. I don't know. We weren't on board with him and we got a bad camera angle. But anyway, Cali Rob will maintain the place. We've got a lot of drivers in this train battling it out still, although it is starting to disperse a little bit. Kind of behind this, we have a Josh Senior train developing behind that Ferrari. We're going to have a lot of cars battling it out in this pack as well. We do see some cars kind of spreading out, kind of keeping it the same as it is. Sharia and Shelly, two weird shit drivers, battling it out. Sharia getting the better of the turtle today. Drizmic and Suey gets a little tight there. Drizmic taking the spot from Suey. Whether or not tire wear is really starting to affect some of these Haas's and Saubers, it might be the case. It appears race day is kind of hovering around that 2.8, 3 second range to Scornsy, as Scornsy has definitely fallen away from Twisted Skills. We have a yellow flag. Who is slow? It's Bruiser. Might have went around there. Fire up Flo. Is he going to make that move on Callie this time? Stick. Diving in, getting it done before the corner really arrives. That's more like it for Fire Up. Race Chase now wondering if he can get past the California. Scornsy falling farther back off of Twisted Skills. Here, Callie and Race Chase basically glued together at this point. Shelly similarly tracking down Sharia, trying to get that place back from the Kentuckian. Not a lot of action typically into turn one, unless we're talking about late in the race, although we do have some very close drivers here. We'll head on board with Suey. Race day starting to track down Scornsy, just a lot more. Scornsy falling off of Twisted Skills by quite a margin at this point. As we head down the backstretch one more time. Now our pit window is opening relatively soon. That is Shumi again. Gone around in the fast corner. Are we going to come across him? No, he's well off track. Hopefully he is definitely in a precarious spot there. Kind of waits for a gap to rejoin. Twisted Skills holding in that gap out front as we head back into the field here. Here we find the two Williams, Gunner and Houdini. Oh, we've got a spinner. It's Brian again. Kind of a tough race for him. He was falling back. I don't think this is, I won't say again, but Brian was having a tough go of it. You know, there are times when you question reality and you ask how or why or what is going on. How is it possible to achieve things like this? All right. Anyway, I don't even more know where we were. We've definitely spaced out a lot more as a field. We've got another spin. Is this Frenchie? It's Frenchie. Terrible. He does get it back underway, but that Mercedes team has just had a rough go of it. Johnny Damon, if it's for anything, is now minus 15 instead of minus 16, passing the sister car there. Definitely seems like these Saubers are dealing with a lot of tire wear. You can kind of see that outside tire there on both outside tires. There it is, diving into pit lane. Let's get some fresh tires on this thing. I'm going to assume we're going to see some hard tires going on to the end. It's definitely too far. 18 laps, definitely way too far to take a soft tire from. Yes, and that is true. The Sauber engineers, they've got those hard tires ready, and they are away. Race Day will re-enter the race in 13th position. Fresh hard tires trying to get that undercut done on Squirnsy. So we're starting to see the pit window open up. A lot of these cars, we can see a lot of tire wear on those front tires. Sharia definitely struggling, it seems. Squirnsy has actually gained quite a lot of time back on Twisted Skills, and those tires don't look too bad, but they definitely do on this Sauber. Now, the interesting question will be, will Squirnsy pit this time by? I think he almost has to. It'd be a bit insane if he doesn't, given the starting tire he is on. Sharia and Shelley battling it out. Oh, they are truly battling it out. Sharia did not want to give up that spot. Shelley all over his gearbox, though, and Josh also kind of along for the ride here. Now let's head out. Let's check on our tire data to get us started here. Now, the two lead cars did carry on, so you do kind of question, did Race Day make the right choice? He is not in range of DRS. He does have to do a lot of overtaking with this strategy. It's potential. Oh, Shelley getting very loose there. Holding on to it, though. Race Chase working on Cali Rob. Is the tire wear just a little bit better for the Alpine compared to the Haas here today? Drismic, a little bit farther back, is starting to work on Josh Sr. Are those hard tires finally starting to turn on? It'll be interesting to see how they perform on their medium tires versus hard tires. It has seemed so far that the hard tire hasn't really taken over yet, but maybe here it is for Drisman. Now he is behind an almighty battle amongst multiple drivers. Race Chase getting past Cali. Is it going to stick? Yes, it is. You've got a lot of drivers diving in on each other here. You kind of got Drismic in the fourth position of this battle and kind of just seeing it unfold in front of him. Suey loses 2 spots. He may have gone off track there. Race Day up 2. That's huge for him. Clearing as much traffic as possible as early into this hard stint is going to be really important for him if he wants to undercut those drivers ahead of him. They both carry on. No one else has bit on pit lane yet. Now, every single time that they are able to head around, they do make those hards just a little bit better at the end. Is it possible that they want to stretch to soft tires? It would be challenging. Race Day out muscles Houdini into the final corner. Oh no, it's Houdini's pitting. Sorry. I would say that would be an interesting place to overtake. This battle with Josh Sr., Shelley, Sharia, Drismic, just a mess. Moser and Houdini both taking new tires here, going to the end on hards for both of them, it appears. Oh, and that's Josh Sr. into the wall. Does he have damage? Hard to tell from here. That rear got loose on him. It appears the front wing is okay somehow. I don't know. You know, you have it on standard damage. That wing should be in a million pieces. Anyway, we head up. Kind of this battle now a little bit more spaced out amongst these 3 drivers now that they have lost their buddy Josh. The important part, though, for the overall win here, race day does clear more cars because of that. He gets past Gunner. Josh being off to the side of the track does give race day a little bit more track position. He's going to have to clear this dogfight in front of him now. Although I would imagine the lead two cars don't carry on. Scornsy into the box. I think race day is going to clear him extremely easily. Couple cars staying out. Drismic, it looked like he thought about it, but he stays out. Shelley stays out. Race day is going to have a lot of clean air here. Scornsy drops back into the pack, but he will have 3-lap fresher tires. Cali-Rob is in as well. A whole host of cars pitting. Cali-Rob, Sharia, Houdini, all going onto that hard tire. Sui as well in that group. Byron Mosser a little bit farther back. But this is big for race day. The 3 cars ahead of him still have yet to pit. It'll be kind of close on the out with Twisted, but I think that this undercut may have worked. Will it come back to bite him? We will have to see as this race plays out. Scornsy does lead all drivers that have pit on this lap. That's very important for him. The only driver in front of him that has made his stop is race day. That will be very valuable for him. He will get clean air. He'll have to chase down race day here. Gets past Shelley, now has to work on Josh. Twisted Skills is in the pit lane. Let's see where this blend happens. Will race day beat him out? Almost assuredly. It looks like just a few corners to go. Those Ferrari mechanics don't make mistakes in game, but it looks like the undercut has prevailed. Where is the blend line? It doesn't matter. He is past him. Now the hunt is on for Twisted Skills. He has 4-lap advantage on his tires here. Get him up to temperature and start taking time out of that Sauber. Race Chase also in, Josh in, Shelley in, Gunner in, all those drivers that had yet to pit. Only one driver now has yet to pit, it appears, and that is Fire Up Flo having yet to pit. There's a Ferrari off, it's Josh. Oh no, how does one end up in this spot? Virtual safety car as the Ferrari has trouble getting out. Maybe stranded there a little bit. This won't have much of an effect as the pit cycle is really already over. The big effect is that it does save a little bit of that tire warm up for some of these cars. Now, I'm not quite sure what's happening here for Josh. We are back green, it appears. I don't know what's happening with Josh. We did see a drive-through penalty, I think just for Frenchie. Let's double check if anybody else got a penalty. It was also Shelley and Twisted Skills. Oh no! Oh no! And a sped. Oh, it all falls apart. It all falls apart. Oh, that is just brutal for the Ferrari as he strolls down pit lane. 13 seconds plus a drive-through. Everyone has... This is why. This is the difference. This is the difference, right? I think that we have to appreciate that. As Johnny finally gets it going again. This is the difference, though. Oh, yep. That car is definitely being driven in anger. I think we have to appreciate that this is truly the difference that we see between top flight D1 drivers and others. is that Scornsy and Race Day haven't really made mistakes today. And, knock on wood, we hope that they don't. Um, that is where the rub lies. Twisted and Johnny both have made mistakes when they had a chance to win. We see it taken away from them. That's where the big difference, I think, often lies when we're talking about how do you win championships, how do you win multiple championships in Midwest. This is you get a lot of points for winning races, and so it's something that you got to really be consistent at, being near or at the front week in and week out, showing up. We have a change for the lead as Fire Up Flow pits to make the final driver, making their mandatory stop there. He will come out in fifth place, sorry. Behind Race Chase. We'll have Josh Sr. driving it into the pit lane, I think, to retire that car. Drismic coming out of the pit lane. Sorry, I thought he had spun. He is coming out of the pit lane now. Comes into a battle here. We do have a couple of those cars that are kind of at awkward spots in their stint. Now, can Scornsy track down Race Day? It's going to be a tall order to track down 4 seconds against someone as good as Race Day. We have a car around. It's Frenchie. A bad day goes to worse. Race Day does get that 3 second, if anybody really cared about 3 second penalties in a race like this. That does give us an even fight up front. Race Chase looks to make it work on Callie for now. What is the third step on the podium? Fire Up Flow directly behind him. Fire Up once again on very fresh tires, just fresh out of the pit lane. Twisted Skills is 4 seconds back of them with his 13 seconds penalty. Johnny Damon is on a mad charge. Oh! A little bit of contact there potentially between Damon and Weeb. But he has been on a charge here, it appears. Put on those fresh medium tires and has been rapid since his mistake early on. Problem is he's just lost too much ground. He might gain a little bit back here. Very defensive move from Sharia. Godney Weeb decides to go around the outside. Can he make it stick? Yes, he can, although Sharia is going to have a good line here into the next corner. You have to, at some point, give, and neither is giving. Weeb using all the racetrack and more. Hell, he paid for the game, right? Sharia losing ground because of it. Whether or not that really is fair is up to you. Godney Weeb really gives it up after that. Loses multiple spots after cutting basically the entirety of the S's. We see Race Chase and Callie going at it. Race Chase with the preferred line, but he loses a lot of ground there. My depth perception, I guess, is dog shit. And those fresh tires from Fire Up. Can he make it too? Oh! A little bit of a push off track, but, all fair. He lets him back on, and they're still side by side. Fire Up gets it done, holds on to it around the outside. Heck of a race here we've got today. Callie Robb will, I imagine, want to get that back. And so while we can appreciate the battling up front, we can once again head back to this massive train here in the midfield. This is basically the field here. Kind of starting with Sharia, we go down Drismic, Weeb, Suey. That is Shelly in the back there, slow. But anyway, Sharia, Drismic, Weeb, Suey, Gunner, Houdini, all basically bumper to bumper in a giant DRS train. Bruiser has left the session. That's sad. Does he want an invite back? I don't know. He's 25 seconds behind Shelly. I'm not going to bother. Um, Now here we go, this long DRS train down this long DRS straight as Gutney Weeb goes to the outside. Will it be enough as he gets wheel to wheel? Oh, what a dive from Drismic. Oh, it does not work. Holy smokes. He nearly takes out that giant DRS train, but somehow, some way, the DRS train looks to maintain it's intact, right? Sui leading out front here. Sharia recovering from being nearly assassinated. This train stays a train. It's really something, isn't it? Now, we have left that battle up front alone, watching the fireworks back here. Scorenzy has fought back 3 seconds in a little over 5 laps. Can he claw back all the way to get into this DRS and make this fight to the finish? We will see as he continues to grind it up. Sui cuts the track just one more time than he should have and gets another penalty. This train is still long, although Sharia might need to burn a little bit here to make sure that he gets DRS to protect himself from the Hornet's Nest. Race Chase and Cali Rob once again trading spots as that battle continues on. Twisted Skills is in that, although he does have that 13 seconds of penalties. Now here we go down the back stretch, this long train of cars. No one's really going to make a move this time by, except for maybe Drismic, who seems to like every move that there is, but he will back out of it this time around. And there it is. Scorenzy is within DRS of race day. The battle between the two greatest Midwest F1 racers of all time always seems to find a way. Even though they are in the two worst cars, they will duke it out for first and second here at the Circuit of the Americas. Fire Up Flow is 8 seconds behind, clearing himself off of Race Chase. Those fresh tires late on, doing magic for Fire Up. Race Chase and Cali Rob, it seems Cali Rob has had something go awry for him. As Sui is this going to be a pass in the S's? Yes, it is. Sui goes well off the track, loses multiple positions. As we see this battle continue, Gutney Weeb gets by Sharia. This is just insanity, really. This train has been just at each other's throats all night long. But still, once again, somehow they have really managed to maintain a train. Houdini has dropped back 4 seconds off of the pack, though. Whether that was a mistake or a choice, who knows? The two Saubers glued together going into the final corner. I don't think we'll see a move from Swansea into turn 1. Really, he's probably used quite a bit of battery to get into this position. I would expect that he spends a few laps charging, gathering himself, and preparing to make his assault for the top step. Kind of a little bit further back, Fire Up well on his way to getting that third position. Twisted Skills down but not out, battling to get into 4th place off of Race Chase. Now, well, like we said earlier, penalties are penalties, positions are positions, on track is on track. That fight, I can imagine he's going to try and get past as many cars as he possibly can, penalty or not. Sharia Coleslaw still hunting down Gutney Weeb. This pack still together. Not as hornet's nesty as it was a few laps ago. A little bit of a slide there, it looked like, from Sharia, but still a pack nonetheless. Let's take you through the field. Of course, we have Scorenzy and Race Day battling it out here in the top two steps. We have a car that's slow off the pace. It's Houdini. These two now duking it out for the top step. This is going to be a battle that's going to go all the way to the wire, I can imagine. Heading back a little bit further, Fire Up following in third, 7 seconds off those two. Race Chase just a few seconds off of Fire Up, but he is really looking to Twisted Skills, the former contender for the win, now trying to gain a little bit of redemption. Cali Rob has had a tough race. At one point, really truly battling for the podium, now relegated to 6th. Really looking to see if he can get into that top 5. Johnny Damon has had a good recovery after spinning early on, although it was something that he did throw away an opportunity at the win, but he has done good to get back into the top 10, into the top 7 here. Gotney Weeb really racing, backing up this train, keeping it all together here as the leader of our long DRS train. Scornsy and Race Day do keep it in 1-2 here. Twisted Skills does get by Race Chase into the hard braking zone. Sharia Coleslaw and Sui, these drivers really started a little bit further back midfield, have managed to make it to 9th and 10th. Sui with 6 seconds penalties has really seemed to struggle today. Another warning for Race Day. Maybe cutting the track just a few too many times. Maybe just a little bit too used to driving Jettas in a circle in Charlotte, North Carolina. Gunnar Drismic, from what I have seen, a very aggressive driver. Quick at times, can work on his patience a little bit. Houdini has really fallen off of that DRS train into 13th. Brian has struggled quite a bit. Shelley, this is about what I would have expected from someone that has taken a long break from F1 games. Every lap is learning for him. It's been a period of time since he's run. Bruiser DC'd a while ago, just kind of, had a rough race, and here he is. And Frenchie as well, having a very challenging race. Will Race Day go for the move? Yes, he will. Alongside big lockup, he does not keep it on track. That was off track, but he does defends hard from Scornsy. Scornsy backs out of it. He'll have to mount a charge a little bit later on. Now, once again, we do look at those penalties next to their names. I will say, I don't think that they will care too much about them. I'm sure that Scornsy will try to do everything in his power to finish ahead of Race Day, no matter what that black and white flag says. Sui and Gunnar side by side in the stadium section. Gunnar gets the better of Sui. Gunnar really all over. That's a really tight line into that corner. It's just something you'd love for Sui to be able to get alongside, but it's just a little bit too tough to get there. Drismic watching all of that from his cockpit here. Now this train has really broken up quite a bit. Sui sends it back onto Gunnar. Gunnar gets back alongside of him, but is not able to stay alongside of him into the S's. We'll head back up to the top steps. Lorenzi is going to keep it back for today. Oh, maybe a little bit of a cheeky move there from Race Day, questioning whether or not he is really just trying to get Scorenzy to get past him. Maybe playing a little bit of strategery here, trying to battle it out for positioning on the final lap. Of course, it is extremely valuable to be P1 or P2 on the final lap, but P2 does have that massive advantage of DRS down one of the longest straights in Formula One. Something that I'm sure these two drivers are going to be thinking about coming on to lap 28. And so we head on to lap 25 here, as those two will continue to battle each other. Sharia Ganiweeb. Sui battling with Drizmic. Sui really dropping back into this pack. His tires looking a little bit worse for wear, it seems. He really seems to struggle late in stints so far today. But we head back to the top. Those kicks just lock step today. Really has been a battle, as we'll see. Heading onto the backstretch, what is the play this time around? Does it make sense for Scorenzy to take the position now or wait another lap? It looks like now is the ideal option for him. He gets into that, locks up the left front, but it doesn't matter. He gets that position done. Now, will Race Day, sit back and try to attack the last lap? Will he try to attack next lap and kind of tandem back and forth? What the strategy is, we'll have to find out. What is in his head is going to be interesting here. Another question I might have is this Mercedes of Frenchie going to play a role? Hopefully, if Frenchie sees these two coming, he does not allow it to gain DRS. That would be something I'd worry about. But I think that potentially Scorenzy, if I'm mistaken, did Scorenzy open that rear wing? No way that is 1 second, right? I can't imagine that they are close enough. I guess we'll see here as we see them come over the hill and dive down towards the hairpin, back onto the long straightaway. A little bit of wheel spin there for Race Day off of the corner. No, it appears that he will be too far back this time around to make a move, but really it's about saving up, preparing, making all of those preparations you possibly can for the last lap. Fire up, Flo, looking to make it past Twisted Skills one more time. Shelly down on Bruiser, who's an AI. Not going to get it done here for Fire Up. Alright, heading now, rounding the final corner, heading on to lap 27 of 28. Scorenzy and Race Day once again still lockstep, although that gap is wider than it has been in the past. Johnny Damon now looking to see if he can get past Callie Robb. Once again, this recovery from Johnny has been quite impressive. Although those medium tires are now at that point in their stint where they are definitely screaming at Johnny every single corner, every single lap. Great defense so far from Callie. Race Day has fallen outside of the 1 second gap. He's going to have to burn as much as he possibly can here to have any hope of staying with Scorenzy. Now here is also that question, like we have mentioned before, Frenchie, that lap car might play a factor here. It might not be this lap, but it might be next lap. If Scorenzy manages to push, I think Scorenzy might already have it. I think it's too late. He he just had a few good sectors. That gap too wide here. Race day is going to need to have a miracle final lap if he wants to win this race. Johnny Damon still working on Callie Robb. Great defensive driving from Callie. Getting to that apex first, really slamming the door. Oh, he slides. Never mind. California Robert does not get it done today. The defense not stalwart enough. Johnny Damon gets that spot. Heading on to the final lap here today. Race day following back 1.3 seconds. I just don't think, as Frenchie gets out of the way, I just don't think he'll have enough here for Scorenzy. Scorenzy with that healthy lead out of DRS range will come down the long back stretch, and he will surely win without any troubles in the final closing corners. Throughout the field, we have really spaced out. It's been a tough battle for a lot of these midfield positions. But ultimately, drivers have really sorted it out. The only true battles that we still have here are apparently this one. Fire Up and Twisted trying to get around him. Oh, jeez. Will not get it done. Shelley does go long to get that position, or to get that fastest lap. But rounding the final corner is the Midwest F1 GOAT, Scorenzy, for the win. Race day trailing. Fire Up will get it ahead of Twisted. Race Chase coming in afterwards. Johnny Damon with a great recovery drive, battling Callie Robb in the closing stages, gets that position. Got Any Weeb coming around the final corner. He was at one point part of that giant train, but he managed to pull away from it. Sharia Coleslaw battled his way through that train into 9th. 10th, Gunner Sui really struggling in late stints, finishes 11th. Drismic, the aggression does not pay off, will finish 12th. Houdini, always a conservative driver, finishing 13th. Brian coming around 14th, finishing not where he would want to, but he does finish. Bruiser's Ghost coming around to finish up his lap, and Sheldon the Turtle, he gambled and gambled and gambled, and when he was told to stop, he still gambled, but he did pay off with a fastest lap. Oh! And he crashes into the wall like the Pirates season. For those of you that have joined me before, for those of you that will join in the future, thank you for attending tonight's Invitational Midwest F1 Season 15, Season 16 race. I think what we have seen tonight further proves how impressive Scorenzy and Race Day's pace and consistency have managed to be throughout the years, and throughout Midwest history. Scorenzy really truly does dominate these races, these interdivisional races. He just always seems to have something when it comes to driving these dog shit cars. Truly. Um, but once again, I would like to thank you all. Have a good night, and I hope to see you and your friends and everybody that you possibly can find for season 16, starting June 19th at Bahrain International Circuit.